Hi friends, this is my video on Egyptian civilization. Now, let me clear a doubt for you. You might be asking on your end. Why I am posting the video on Egyptian civilization again? I am posting it because my thoughts were like I have posted the video but it was a silent video. And second that it didn't had much information compared to this video. So I thought I could post it again. So let's start the video now. First slide says info on Egypt. Egypt was a civilization of ancient Northeast Africa. Now the Northeast African region is the region where Sahara Desert is located, and it is connected or it is attached with Mediterranean Sea. You can find that in your atlas or the simple thing today, Google. So it was in the ancient Northeast Africa and was situated in the Egyptian Nile Valley. So this was a civilization which was in the Nile Valley, and there is no need to explain about river Nile because it's the largest river of the world. In the country of Egypt, ancient Egyptian civilization followed prehistoric Egypt, concealed around 3100 BC with political unification of Upper and Lower Egypt under Menes. So the Egyptian civilization was around 3100 BC. BC is for before Christ, or sometimes we say BCE, that is before Christ era, with political unification of Upper and Lower Egypt under Menes. We will learn about Menes in the video further, and there was a unification between Upper and Lower Egypt. Political unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. The Egyptian social pyramid. This is social structure. This diagram shows how the Egyptian society was shaped. Which groups formed the top two levels of the social pyramid? There is a question. The bottom two levels. This is also a question. So the first level was the pharaoh, the king. The second level was government officials like vizier, the vice person, the priest, and the nobles. Then third level was of the soldiers. Then fourth level was of scribes. Scribes are the people who write things and make seals. Then fifth level was of merchants, traders, merchants. The sixth level was of craftsmen, the person who crafts something like sculptures, weapons, clothes, metals, statues, and other things. Like you can see in this image, there is one making sculpture, one making, like you can see there is an axe, so making weapons. This over here, one is making cotton. You can see the yarn over cloth. You can see the yarn over here. One is making making something of gold. You can see metals, gold over here of golden color. One is making one more statue of, you can see like statue of pharaoh. Then one is making a net over here, a fishing net we can say. So the sixth level was of craftsmen. The seventh level was of peasants. Peasants are the farmer people. And the last level was of slaves. So the first answer to the first question is The top two levels were formed by the government and the pharaoh and the government officials respectively, and the bottom two levels were formed by peasants and slaves respectively. The economy of Egypt. Agriculture made up of the major part of ancient Egypt's economy. Means agriculture was the major occupation, and the most of the economy was made up of agriculture. Agriculture thrived because Egypt has a climate that is warm year round. Like we can see in the background picture, there's a desert. So deserts are warm. So it has the warm temperature year round. And the Nile rivers yearly flooding. In the rainy season, Nile river flooded. So it provided silt and clay, and as we all know, silt and clay is great for agriculture. Then ancient Egypt also had many natural resources, including flax, papyrus. Papyrus they made from a plant, stone and gold. Stone, like we can see in the tombs and everything, like chariots were made up of gold. And in this video we will see something of using gold in making graves in graves. So the economy was made up of agriculture. The major part was agriculture. It was because of warm temperature and the yearly flooding of Nile River, which provided silt and clay. Now the next slide says trade. In ancient Egypt, the ancient Egypt traded gold. They had a lot of amount of gold. Like I said, they made chariots made up of gold. Papyrus, they traded gold, papyrus, linen, and grain for cedar wood. Ebony, copper, iron, ivory, and lazuli lapis. It is a blue gemstone, like you can see it's written over here, a lovely blue gemstone. So they had a lot of gold. You can see they traded, they made things made of gold, and they used gold in the forming of mummy also. So they had a lot of gold. They traded with like Indus Valley, Roman people, Mesopotamian, Chinese, and more. Like the time period of this civilization was a long time period, so I think it had traded with Greece also, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong, but I think it could have traded with Greece. But its main traders were Indus Valley, near in northwest India, Roman Empire, we all know about it. The Mesopotamian civilization, I have posted a video on it, and the Chinese civilization. The currency. Egyptians used gold currency known as nefer nub, meaning fine gold. So they had a gold. They used gold coins. You can see here is the picture of that gold coin. It is known as nefer nub, which meaning is fine gold. Egyptian used gold currency, like you can see gold currency. So they had, I'm again mentioning it, a lot of gold. The diplomacy. They used Amarna diplomacy was used. It was usually singled out of having most developed diplomatic system among the ancient civilization, comprising the main diplomatic techniques including sending of representatives, negotiating, and the handing out of immunities. Like the diplomacy we use today also, like sending representatives and negotiating with countries. Nowadays we negotiate with countries. That time they negotiated with civilization and empires and kingdoms, and handing on immunities. This system was the most developed diplomatic system of the ancient civilizations. This comprised, like I said, this comprised of major diplomatic techniques like sending of representatives, negotiating, and handing out of immunities. Now the monarchy system. The ancient Egyptian had the monarchy system of governance. Monarchy system is extremely clear to everybody, I think, but I will just repeat it again. I will explain it. Monarchy system is a type of system of governance in which the king is the ruler, and the king has the power, has the main power. So they had the monarchy system of governance. The monarch was known as pharaoh, the king. The pharaoh was known as the representative of God on earth. So the pharaoh in Egypt was known as the representative of the God on earth. After the pharaoh's death, he was buried in a pyramid, like you can see on the background. You can see the pyramid. But when the thieves started looting the pyramids, they started building new tombs, which you will get to know later on the video. So means the pharaohs, they had the Egyptians had the monarchy system, and the head was the monarch, or the king, or the head of this system was the pharaoh. Like in the social structure, you can see, wait a second, you can see the head of everything was a pharaoh. So the pharaohs were the head of the whole system, social system, economic system, and everything. And the pharaoh was known as the representative of God on earth. So after a pharaoh's death, he was buried in the pyramid, like you can see in the background. But after some time, or at that time, thieves started looting the pyramids. Thieves were the lower peoples, which did not have much money, so they were attracted to the gold in the pyramids, and they started looting it. So they started building new tombs, which we will get to know further in the video. The pharaohs of this empire. Let me inform you first. There are many pharaohs in this empire. So I have just mentioned the main pharaohs which I could remember. So first is Amenhotep III. He ruled from 1391 BC to 1353 BC. Then Tutankhamun, he ruled from 1341 BC to 1323 BC. Then Akhenaten, he ruled from 1380 to 1334. Then Khufu, he ruled, not the Khufu Panda Khufu, he was a ruler. He ruled from 2589 BC to 2566 BC. Then Cleopatra, she ruled from 69 BC to 30 BC, and then Nefertiti, she ruled from 1334 BC to 1330 BC. Now you can see, this is the model of Queen Nefertiti. The bandage called mummies. So the mummies, as we know, it is great. It is the great knowledge in the world that mummies were wrapped with bandages, and the children think, the first ghost the children get to know is about mummies. So the mummies, Egyptian mummified their pharaohs because they thought they will be alive. So mummification. This is the process of making mummies. So they will be alive in the afterlife. They would be preserved, their body will be preserved for afterlife, when they will be in their afterlife. In this process, also known as, here this is a typo error, modification, there would be mummification. Pharaoh's body was wrapped with a bandage and kept in the coffin, looked like Osiris. Wrapped with bandages and kept in the coffin, looked at Osiris. Now you will think, who is Osiris? Osiris is the main god of the ancient Egyptians. Like the Christians has the main god Jesus Christ. Hindus have main god of Vishnu, and Muslims have main god Allah. Like that, the ancient Egyptians had the main god Osiris. The process of mummification is given on the next slide. There's an image on the next slide. Yeah, there's an image on the next slide which is showing the full process of the mummification. Now let me read the steps and then show you the objects for afterlife. Like you can see, objects were not wrapped with him, but it was kept around the pharaoh. You can see the amulets were kept wrapped in the bandage with him. The pharaoh's body, I'm saying him means pharaoh's body. Then cartonnage case was made around him to protect him. Then decoration, you can see paintings are made on this, and it was wrapped with one layer of linen. And then wooden coffin. The coffin is made up of wooden, which has the gold decoration on it, and you can see the face of Osiris. Before this, putting bandage around the mummies, they were kept in a large pool of salt to remove their moisture. So these are the steps that were used to make a mummy. So let me tell you what was inside a tomb, a pyramid shaped tomb. So there were 2 air shafts, you can see, coming from this and here. Then king's chamber was the biggest chamber. Then grand gallery was there. Then queen's chamber was below king's chamber. Then there was again a air shaft, not aircraft, air shaft. I was going to say aircraft. There was an air shaft, and then the passage from grand gallery, which opens over here, or it goes in the subterranean chamber. So in the king's chamber there was a body of king, and in the queen's chamber there was a body of queen. Many tombs were robbed. Like I said, the poor fellows of the Egyptian civilization started robbing the tombs because they were attracted with the gold kept in it. In ancient Egypt, grave robbing was considered the worst crime one could commit. They were like attracted with, it was a worst crime because they were like they had many thoughts about afterlife. Like when one person dies, he goes in a middle place of the heaven and the hell, and there he is tested with like what good things he has done and what bad things the person or the pharaoh has done. And then if he has done bad things, then he went to the hell, and then when he did good things, he went to heaven. So they had many things, and they like prayed they respected afterlife. So they considered that grave robbing was a worst crime one could commit. Grave robbers were in a hurry when they broke in tombs to steal whatever they could find that had value. So they steal anything that they just grabbed anything which had a value. They were in a hurry, like if the guards come in, then they were gone, they were dead. They wanted to grab and get away. Like I said, they were in a hurry. The punishment of grave robbing was a horrible and hideous death. So grave robbing means a worst crime anyone could commit in the ancient Egyptian religious system, we can say, or in the civilization. Then protecting the tombs. The curses were used to protect the tomb. This curse is known as the curse of the pharaohs or the mummies curse. The curse allies to be upon anyone who disturbs the mummy of an ancient Egyptian, especially a pharaoh. So there was a curse placed upon the mummy, which would be upon a person who would disturb the tomb of the pharaoh, especially of a Egyptian, especially of a pharaoh. This curse does not differentiate between thieves and archaeologists. So this curse does not differentiate means who is archaeologist and who is thieves. It does not know that, and it just comes upon the person who opens the tomb. It is claimed to cause illness or death. So like when you see someone opening a Egyptian tomb, they must be wearing a mask nowadays. So it's because to protect themselves from the curse or curse. New tombs. So I told you that new tombs, we will be covering the new tombs which are made in this video. So they spend the treasures they spend their time and treasure creating hidden underground mausoleums. So after that, when the grave robbing was in their height, so they started making the tombs which were underground and which were known to no one. The most famed collection of such elaborate tomb is on the Nile's west bank near Luxor. It is known as the Valley of the Kings. So this collection of such elaborate tombs is on the west bank of the Nile River near Luxor, and this collection is known as the Valley of the Kings. So there are not many tombs. There are not many tombs known in the Valley of the Kings. As I know, it is the main tomb which is known as is of the tomb of King of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. The vast empire. Egyptian civilization was an extremely vast empire. It was an empire in Northeast Africa, like I said, situated in the Nile River. The ancient Egyptian empire followed prehistoric Egypt, concealed around 3100 BC, and political unification of same. The information of same is written in this slide, like which was written in the info on Egypt. And like I said, I will be explaining about the political unification of Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. So the political unification of it was with the political unification of Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt under Mens, often identified by Narmer or aka Pharaoh. So Mens Narmer is equals to Pharaoh, we can say. So the same, it was about 1300 BC ago. 1300 in around 1300 BC, sorry. And it was ancient Egyptian civilization. The ancient Egyptian empire was followed by prehistoric Egypt. So this is the map of Egyptian civil empire. You can see Abu Simbel, Elfanti, Tibos, yeah, etc., etc. So let me say, tell you, the northern part of the empire is known as Lower Egypt, and the southern part is known as Upper Egypt. So when anybody asks you like where is the Upper Egypt, so don't so it is not like in the north, it's in the south. It's the opposite of the directions which comes in our mind. So language, the Egyptian language of ancient Egypt was an extant Afro-Asiatic language. It was Afro-Asiatic of African and Asiatic language that was spoken in ancient Egypt. It is known today because of surviving text which were made at that time. So the ancient Egyptian used the language, an extinct language of Afro-Asiatic language, and we know it today because of the surviving text which were made at that time. The script, hieroglyphics were the script used at that time. They are the combination of symbols like a vulture and a serpent and reeds and etc., etc. So hieroglyphics, the ancient Egyptian used the script known as hieroglyphics. Greek for sacred words. For almost 4,000 years, hieroglyphics were written on papyrus, carved on stones, on tombs and temple walls, and used to decorate many objects of cultic and daily lives. Cultic means cultural and daily lives. So hieroglyphics means sacred word which was used almost 4,000 years ago. Hieroglyphics were written papyrus. The first paper is papyrus, carved on stones, temple walls, used to decorate many objects of cultic and daily life uses. Now the video is over. Now there is the question time. So the question is, in which direction is the Lower Egypt in? Please answer the question in the comment box. I explained this this question in the video. So thank you everybody for watching this video. Please subscribe, like and share my channel. Thank you.